Just like the body needs medicine when it gets sick, I'm convinced that the soul needs a regular dose of something too. 25-year-old me would have found that wildly woo-woo to say, but you live and learn. And one of the best spiritual aspirins that I take regularly is reading Nick Cave's Red Hand Files, and I want to turn you on to it if you haven't heard of it before. Cave is a writer and a musician who fronts the band Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, and even if you don't think you've heard of him or them, you've probably heard some of their work in the theme from Peaky Blinders. Cave has also suffered a lot of personal tragedy in his life, having buried one son in 2015 and another in 2022. He's a person who's lived and lost and thought and written really deeply and profoundly about all of it. The Red Hand Files are his blog and newsletter where he answers questions that are submitted to him, and you can go there right now and ask him a question of your own. You can also read all the old archives, and I suggest that you do, but I also want to flag issue 345, which just came in a few days ago. In it, a woman who lost two sons of her own writes to Cave and describes this moment she had in that hazy moment between asleep and awake, and how she feels she was visited by one of her deceased sons. She acknowledges that it's just her subconscious, but she still doesn't feel like she can throw away this thread of magic that has appeared in her life. Cave's response is beautiful and tender, and I won't diminish it by trying to communicate all of it here, but suffice to say that I found his invitation to the original writer and implicitly to all of us not to discredit those serendipitous or magical moments that we find in our day-to-day really powerful. And again, I'm not here to tell you to watch out for UFOs or that Bigfoot is living in a walk-up in Queens, but I've never been in the woods alone in the evening in that time between when the sun is set but before night is settled in and not felt connected to something a little more magical or wilder or somehow greater than myself. Even if it's a delusion or a trick of the subconscious, it's one that I'm profoundly grateful for. And as I age, I find myself looking for more and more threads of magic at the seams of the world or my own experience. Anyways, I hope you give the Red Hand Files a read. I think you'll find something in there to like.